Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I am sharing with you the system that I have come up with to keep track of our homeschool records. So be sure to stick around. Yeah, so this is actually going to be our first year that we are going to need homeschool records. And so I tried to come up with just a very simple and straightforward system. That's really the best way to explain it, that I can keep track of what I need to. Now, the state that we live in, there are a handful of things that we have to keep up with, but then that's all that we have to do. So this is not going to work for everyone because every state has different requirements. But this is just kind of to give you an idea of the way that I have kind of the organization and just kind of my thought process here, in hopes that maybe it would be helpful for you if you are looking for some kind of system or a way that you can sort of organize things through the school year, just depending on what you need and or what you want to keep track of. So I have three different things here. I have this tray, I have a clipboard, and then I have this beautiful portable file, box file holder. And it has been with me since like going into college. So, it has definitely put the work in. So where to begin? Let's start with the clipboard. So on more of a kind of a daily or even weekly basis, I will write down things on the clipboard here based off of what our state requires for us to keep track of. And a little extra, but I just wanted to have it all in one place. Now this sits on top of my bookshelf. That way I can keep up with it and it's sitting there staring at me and I will remember to write the things down. So here, I just made these on like, not Word, but whatever the Apple equivalent to Word is. So this is like a read alouds book list. This is an independent reader book list. Like I said, I'll just write them down. That's all that's required at this point. This is an activity log. So like any extra little field trips we go to or, fun little adventures or museums, anything like that. Units completed. So any of the unit studies that we complete, I will write down there. And then any other curriculum that we use throughout the year. That all just gets written down on here. And that's it. That's all I will do, like I said, on a weekly basis. Now, more on, kind of more on an irregular basis because it will just depend on how much time I have or, how the different curriculums are laid out and things like that will depend on really kind of how I manage the rest of this. At minimum, when we have completed a unit. So like right now we're getting close to the end, thankfully, of Australia. By the time you guys see this video, we will be done with it. But anyway, when we are done with that unit and units moving forward, my plan is go through the unit, pick out a handful of pages that are the best pages, one or two from the beginning, one or two from the middle, and one or two from the end that really show some good progression, or maybe it was just a really good drawing that she did, or a really great story, whatever, it doesn't matter. I will stick those in here in the to be filed bin. This sits on my shelf in my closet. Anything that needs to be filed, naturally, I will just toss in here. So if there's a math page that she does really, really well on, or a new concept in math that is introduced and she does really great on practice, you know, on the practice problems, anything like that, anything that I want to file and hold on to will go into this bin. When the time comes that I get 5 minutes of peace and quiet to file, I will then take whatever items are in here and put them in said file. Now, let's go through this first and then I will move on. Like I said, I have had this forever. All this is, these are just hanging file folders, and then inside of them, which I will show you guys some more, you can kind of see are like just those, like the foldable file folders. That makes sense. So I have hanging file folders, and then I have just regular, like the regular old file folders. So the way I have organized this is this front little section, if you guys can see, kind of, I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's a file folder here at the very front that's just art, different paintings and different art things, whatever, anything extraordinary that we want to save goes in there. Then next I have here, this is ready to read. So I went through and I pulled out all of the pages that I wanted to save, which really is way too many, y'all. Like I probably have like 10 or 20 pages from each of those books, and there's 4 books. I don't need all that. But, you know, sometimes it's just hard to get rid of things. So, anyways, I have those here, and just on my label, that's what I put, ready to read. And then I put 2020 to 2021 so that I know what it is. And that's all of the curriculum that we used for that year. Because Ready to Read had math included. Yes, we did do a little bit of the master books and all of that deal, but I didn't keep up with any of that. I didn't need to. It's fine. We're just moving on, okay? Like I said, I really don't have to start record keeping until this year. So really I don't need any of this, but I want to have it just to be sure. And there were some cool things, obviously, that we got to accomplish these years. So I want to hang on to that. Okay, so then next up, I have my next year's file folder, like the following year, which is our current year that we are on. So same thing inside of this. I'll just take it out. So this is our current year's folder, as you can see. So I have all of these are just like extra things that we have completed. These are pages from every unit that we have done. Same thing, I just went through, took a handful from the beginning, middle, and end of each one. Again, I don't really have to keep up with all of that, but I'd rather have more than I need than not enough. And then after, I think it's 4 or 5 years, I probably can just chunk some of the extra that we really don't want to keep. And then I have a section here for math. So same thing, I just went through my math pages and kind of pulled out some of the best math. Take this, put it back. And that's it for current school year. So Australia will actually make it into there. And then a little bit of the Good and the Beautiful Math 1 will make it in there as well. And then that's it. So So then I have moved on and I have this coming school year. So 22 to 23. Yes, 2022 to 2023 school year that I already have that file folder set up. For this one, I have added social studies and Bible, which you guys know back there if you've been around. So those two, I've actually planned to put those together in one file folder because they're really not that extensive. The things, like the worksheets and stuff, there's not much to it. So I really won't have to keep very many, but I do want to keep, again, just a couple from the beginning, middle, and end, just to show some progress there and, you know, go through what we have completed. So I have a file folder for math and then a file folder for social studies and Bible. The reason why I have these separated out is because everything else that's going to be in here is going to be for our unit studies. Since that's our core curriculum, our unit studies, and that's really what we're using, it's going to take up the most space. So it'll just kind of, like you've seen with the other ones, it'll just be in here by itself. And then these will be easy to separate out. And then this is the entire year. So if something happens, something comes up, I need to prove, you know, that we actually did schoolwork. Maybe I need to turn in a few additional samples of math or whatever. I very easily can go to this year and then I can pull out my math, and then everything that I have wanted to save for that year is there. It's easy to find and I don't have to go searching for it. If I do this, I'm really hoping to do this on more of a monthly basis, or at least when we complete a unit, just go through, tear all of my pages, go through our math, just, you know, a little bit at a time, and not let this pile up. But in the event that it does pile up in here, it's at least in here and I already have this sorted and figured out and somewhere to go. Now, as far as what is on my clipboard, same thing with that. As these things get filled out, and I, you know, if I need to print more, like I'm sure I'll need to print more for read alouds and things like that, I'll just take these and stick them in the folder with it. Again, that way everything that I need is all together. And that's it. That's my whole system. Now, I only have one child, so I only need one of these. I would suggest, if it were me and you were looking at doing something like this, I would get one of these for each child. I can't imagine that these are very expensive. I don't know. So, I mean, obviously you'll have to look into that. And if they are that expensive, then I'm so sorry. I would maybe try and come up with something else. But anyways, I would just do one of these for each child, because if something comes up, or even if everything is good and maybe you just want to go back and look at John's, you know, work from 2 years ago and see how far he has come in his handwriting, then you very easily can just go get John's file and you go back to whatever I said, 2019, and you pick out handwriting and you can compare the two, or whatever it is that you need to do. I feel like having one per child will just make things a lot easier, instead of trying to put everybody all together. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be easier to have them all together. I'm not sure. But this is the system that I am planning on using this year. And that's it. So if you guys have any questions, or maybe if you have any ideas or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.